So okay guys, so let's start. So yeah, hopefully you guys remember what we were doing in the last class. We are trying to prove this algorithm, right? The correctness of this algorithm, which sort of works in a BFS manner, right? So you start from the source and then you sort of, yeah, update its distance and then you sort of update the distance that is possible as of now for all the neighbors, push all the neighbors to the queue, right? Then take the next vertex in the queue and you keep on updating the distance if you find a better distance, right? And once any particular vertex is sort of updated, push that vertex into the queue again, right? So you sort of keep doing this. And yeah, once you keep doing this, this is basically the algorithm, right? Now we were we proved that in, I don't know, one or two classes before that this algorithm terminates, right? So it is not as if that this algorithm will run forever, right? It terminates, right? Maybe in n factorial steps or whatever, right? But we still have not proved. We are in the process of proving the correctness of this algorithm. If this algorithm, whatever we are trying to do, if it is correct, right? So initially, it was just as done in the BFS manner, or probably updating for every edge at most twice. Then it was not working. Then what we did was sort of push those vertices which were updated again to the queue, so that the updation again starts from that vertex again, and it is completed till there are no updates in the graph at all. Right? So this is what we were doing. So we saw many attempts for the proof of correctness of this algorithm, right? And I don't think any of these approaches has still been completed, right? So as far as I remember, I think, yeah, we were trying to, the last thing was we were trying to do it, induction on the number of edges, right? Still there was some issue with that, yeah, proof. Okay, so that is where we have stopped, right? We tried to do induction on the number of vertices in the graph. That somehow didn't work, right? So we had to choose a special vertex to remove, and still there were some problems with that, right? And then we started doing induction on the, yeah, number of edges, something that was proposed, and that is where we were discussing. And yeah, as of now, yeah, there is still not concrete proof yet. Yeah, but okay. So did you guys think over it? Any new ideas, suggestions?
Yes, I think I have a contradiction proof for this.
You have a contradiction for this proof, is it, or the algorithm itself?
To prove the algorithm.
The proof of this algorithm, is it?
Yes. Using contradiction method.
Oh, you have a proof using contradiction method.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So anyway, let's see here. Yeah, tell me how to do this.
Uh, Assuming all the distances have not been set correctly. So let us say some of them have been set correctly and some of them have not, because we know that at least the source is set correctly, the distance to it.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's true.
So there will exist a vertex u
Hmm.
such that its distance is not set correctly,
Hmm.
but at least one of its neighbors' distance will be set correctly.
Okay. So hmm, there always exists a vertex, right?
Yes.
Whose yeah, distance is not set correctly, but at least the distance of one of its neighbors is set correctly. Okay, right? So let me just write there exists a vertex u such that its distance is not set correctly, but there exists a neighbor of u whose distance is set correctly. Okay. Okay,
And
good.
the shortest path to you comes from that neighbor.
Okay, 1 minute. So, okay, so does everyone believe this statement?
Sir,
Alex?
I don't know how is it correct, sir.
It's not necessary, right? That the vertex which is correct updated is, I mean, from there only the shortest path should come. There might be
Uh,
another vertex which
no,
is not correctly
yeah,
updated.
you are sort of yeah, sort of you are trying to negate the next statement of Chaitanya, right? Before that, he said this statement, right? Is this statement correct?
Uh, Sir, I don't understand how is it correct. Like, how do
Yeah,
we prove it?
why is this statement even correct? Yeah, Chaitanya, why is this correct? How do we prove this statement?
We can take some random vertex and see,
Let us use the word arbitrary rather than random.
arbitrary.
Yeah,
Yes. We can
okay.
choose an arbitrary vertex, and
Mhm.
if its distance is let's choose an arbitrary vertex whose distance is not set properly,
Yeah.
and we check all its neighbors, and we
Mm.
know that if we find one whose distance is set correctly, we are done.
Mhm.
Else, we choose the neighbor which is closer to the source, and we move there and check if that works.
Yeah,
So,
what do you mean by closer to the source?
by level, distance,
No, number
not
of
distance as in
edges.
wedge weights, number of
Uh-huh.
edges.
Okay, number of edges. You move to a vertex which is sort of closer to the source, right? And go to that particular vertex.
Yes.
Okay.
And if
Okay.
that does not work, repeat and until we know that at least the source is set correctly. So
Okay.
this algorithm will turn.
So this, yeah, this will not, you can't move indefinitely, right? So you will move at most n minus 1 or n minus 2 steps, right? Because the source distance is anyway set correctly. So is that proof okay? So Janmansh, did you get it?
Yes, sir. Like, but what from what I understood, maybe we can always take a neighbor of the source. Like there exists, so there has to be at least one vertex. So
Its
Yeah,
distance may be set correctly.
no, it is exactly, yeah, that is exactly what Chaitanya is doing. He is just generalizing it, right? It is not just true for the neighbors of the source. But what he is saying is there always exists some vertex in the graph, right? If the distances of all vertices are not set correctly, uh, if the algorithm is not true by contradiction, there should exist some vertex whose distance is not set correctly. Then what he is saying is, out of all these vertices whose distance is not set correctly, there will at least exist one vertex which has a neighbor whose distance is set correctly, right? So
yeah.
yeah, in that sense, Chaitanya, could you have even chosen the vertex which is closest to the source whose distance was not set correctly?
Yes, sir. There will exist one. You can.
Yeah, that would have worked, right? So the sort of proof is the vertex whose distance is not set correctly and closest to the source. Right, if you take that vertex which is closest to the source and whose distance is not set correctly, right, that vertex will definitely have a neighbor whose distance will be set correctly, right? When we say closest to the source, closest in terms of the number of edges, okay, necessary to reach there. Okay, so yeah, so is this statement fine with everyone? We are not proving anything yet. This is just a standalone statement, right? Okay, any doubts with this? Okay, so there doesn't seem to be any doubt. Okay, So this is fine. Yeah. Now Chaitanya, what you are doing? So you were saying that.
Yes. So now I think I can again use the same algorithm, like choose a arbitrary vertex whose distance not been set correctly.
You
And
choose that vertex, which basically you choose that vertex where one of its neighbors has its distance set correctly. Okay.
no, this is a different one, I
Mhm.
think. Yeah. Now we take another arbitrary vertex from the set distance not set correctly, and we look at a true shortest path.
Mm-hmm.
And if at least one of them,
Mm.
it no, if the what do we say, the path where it comes from, the vertex where it
Mm.
comes from,
Mm.
if its distance is set correctly,
Mm.
then we have a contradiction.
Why? What is the contradiction?
Because the moment the previous vertex has whose distance has been set correctly,
Mm.
it would be added to the queue. And
Mm.
if it would be added to the queue,
Mm.
we know that even the vertex we are looking at, its distance would be set correctly, but we chose the one which is not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. So basically what you are saying is you take a vertex. So suppose there is a source here. You take a vertex whose distance is not set correctly, say u. Now you look at one shortest path, that is in terms of edge weights, right? From
Yes.
source to this particular vertex u, right? Now you on this path, suppose you have a neighbor, right? So we can also take such a vertex u, right? You can take such a vertex u such that it has a neighbor whose distance, but that is not necessary, right? So suppose there are two cases. Suppose on this path, let say x be the neighbor of u. Suppose the distance of x is set correctly, right? There are two cases now, right? So one is x is correct, right? The distance of x is set correctly. Okay, then what is the contradiction?
The moment x is added to the queue, we know it will be
Hmm.
added to the queue when its distance was set correctly.
Correct.
The distance of u also would be set correctly.
We are not adding it to the when we remove x from the queue, we would update all its neighbors, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So since x was set correctly, right? So it was at the last instance when x was updated, right? When x was updated, it was added to the queue at the end. At some point, that x will be processed. It will be taken out from the queue. At that point, you would sort of update all its neighbors, and hence you would update u also, right? You would update u also since x was set correctly, right? That is our assumption, right? Since x was set correctly, right? U would also be set. The distance to u would also be set correctly, right? Is that fine? So with everyone,
So,
Chetan,
like,
1 minute. We will come to the next thing. Yeah, Janmansh. Next case
sir,
we will come to later. Yeah.
I think like aren't we using induction here also, like to prove the main statement only? Because like
Sort of, but yeah, I mean, this whatever he is saying can also be done by, I think probably can be done by induction. We need to be a bit more careful. That's all. Okay. So otherwise, yeah, he is not probably, yeah. Why, Chaitanya? Why did you try to why did you go the contradictory way? Why not induction?
A lot of traps in induction, and so many attempts. I was not confident using induction.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So see, the problem with induction is this, right? You need to get the right inductive statement, right? So many a times we may or may not get the right inductive statement. I mean, this is also a lesson, right, for us. Don't always stick to one certain one way of doing things, right? One way of proving things, right? If something induction doesn't work, try to see if contradiction works or something else. Maybe there is a easier proof by induction, but you need to get the right statement. So getting that right statement will take time, right? So if you can get it the contradictory way, there is no problem with it, right? So you can still probably getting a contradictory statement is much more easier, right? So yeah, induction many a times becomes very easy if you get the right inductive statement, right? But getting that right inductive statement might not be so easy. That's the thing. Okay. Okay, good. So that's your yeah reason why you went for contradiction. Okay, but yeah, so he's doing the contradictory way. Is the first direction okay? When x is set correctly, then can we say that u will also be set correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so any doubts there?
Sir, but the graph is weighted, no, sir.
The graph is weighted, yes, indeed.
So if x to u has a large weight, then how can we say that s to u will also be set correctly?
Because like
so
if
one,
sir, we can
one,
prove it by contradiction, sir. Because like suppose there existed a path which which was smaller than the current weight. Like we are saying this s to u. If there was a path from s to u which was with less weight than this, then we come to a contradiction because x will then s to x will can be also less because we can go from s to u then u to x. But we are saying that x is already set correctly. Therefore, you will S to U will be correct.
that's a bit
So that
it again
doesn't
depends on the weight of the edge xu, right? So what Aryaman asked is correct, but yeah, Janmansh, you are very close, but not exactly, right? Just because there exists a path, right? So just for clarity's sake, the path need not look like this. I will write a disjoint path. Suppose there is a smaller path like this, you can't go to u and then to x, right? It depends on the weight of the edge xu, right? The weight of the edge xu can be large. That is what yeah Aryaman is saying. This weight c can be very large, right? Yeah, yeah, you are close but not exact. It sort of yeah depends on what Chaitanya said. If you have listened to what Chaitanya said carefully, right? I think the answer is there. Yeah, anyone else? So someone else was also talking. Why? How can we resolve Aryaman's doubt?
So we considered SU to be the shortest path, right? We considered it to be a shortest path.
Yeah, we Aryaman, what we did was, yes, to you this path p, whatever this path p is, right? It is the shortest path. It is one shortest path in terms of weight, right? In the graph, right? So such a shortest path always exists, right? So if we considered this path p is a shortest path. When we say shortest path, it is basically the edge weights addition of shortest path in G, right? This is a shortest path in G, right? By assumption itself, it is a shortest path. So there is no other, yeah.
Okay, sir. Yeah, I got it.
So I had a doubt. So like,
Yeah.
why does the weight of x like need to be set correctly? It has to be any one neighbor of u, right? So like, why does the neighbor
that
of
is
the shortest path?
Correct. So you are sort of what Aditya you are saying is correct, but that comes in the next case, right? If x is set correctly, we are through, right? That is correct.
Sir,
right?
our assumption is for SPX, not SPU, right? So what Aryaman, like if there exists a path from S to U, what you say is that suppose the edge XU has like infinite, like a very large weight, then sir, like both will be separate shortest path and S to U through P will not be a shortest path, right?
No, how did we consider P? P was a shortest path from S to U. There might
Sir,
be other
no.
shortest paths.
Are we saying P is the shortest path from S to U or S to X?
S to U.
That's our assumption.
That's our assumption.
Okay,
So which also sort of implies that S to X is also a shortest path, right? Because that is shortest path property, right?
Yes. I was about to say that for the second step.
Yeah, 1 minute. So that's the shortest path property, right? By shortest path property, see, the shortest path property is true for all graphs, so even when there are weights, but the weights has to be positive, right? That is what we have assumed, right? All weights are still positive, right? Shortest path property will not so easily become true when weights are negative. When weight becomes negative, yeah, it can be a bit more crazy, right? But when all weights are positive, the shortest path always contains shortest subpaths. Okay, that is good. Okay, so if x is set correctly, we are done, right? Now the other case is when x is not set correctly, right? So that is what, right? So this is not set correctly, right? That is the case. What that is the doubt what Aditya also asked, right? Yeah. Now Chaitanya.
Yes. Now we know that S to X is also is the shortest path for X, right? Because
Hmm.
S to U is the shortest path.
Correct.
So now we remove U
Hmm.
and we consider X now. We again perform the check on X. Check
Oh.
if its previous vertex is set correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, we're done. Else again we go to that vertex. An algorithmic proof sort of thing. And we know
Yeah,
it will
you.
hit because of the previous statement.
Yeah, but yeah, you are again, you went the contradictory way and then again you are coming to the iterative way. So can you always say that there exists some vertex? Can you choose a vertex here and argue on that?
Sir,
Can you formalize your
we
proof
can.
a bit, your statement a bit better? Yeah, I'll come to you. Someone else, maybe Prajwal or something. I can't see you. Yeah. So Chaitanya. So let me, yeah, just give the chance to Chaitanya. So can you, yeah, when X is not set correctly, can you choose a vertex in this path on which
Choose
we can
the
argue?
choose the distance vertex whose distance not set properly and its minimum among all of them.
No, minimal. What do you mean by minimal?
Among all of them whose distance is not set correctly,
Hmm.
there will exist one whose true distance is uh, minimum.
Minimum.
Won't this proof work though, sir? Like if we continue
No,
keep on.
this will work probably. Yeah. How do we describe that? You keep on going, right?
Yes.
So
Sir, like we can tell it like
hmm,
from S to U. I mean,
hmm,
we consider the shortest path from S to U.
hmm,
Let's say the vertices are x1, x2, something like
hmm.
that, like till
Yeah,
xk.
yeah.
You choose the shortest xi, which is not updated correctly in that path,
Okay, you choose the smallest xi, right?
which is not correctly updated.
Yeah, from going from S to U, you choose the first vertex on this path, which is not updated correctly. Say some xi here, right? So when you are going on this path, this is the shortest path from S to U, right? This is probably what even Chaitanya was basically telling, right? So yeah, we are just trying to put these statements in a nice way so that it becomes easier to argue, right? So what Prajwal is saying is when you're going from S to U, S to U is a shortest path from S to U, right? So while going from S to U on this path, right, let xi be the first vertex whose distance is not set correctly, right? And he says now you argue the same thing on this for this vertex xi. Right? Is that fine? Is that fine, Chaitanya?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay.
shorter.
Yeah. Right. So then there is only one case, right? So the neighbor of xi, right? Not only the neighbor of xi, every vertex, right, from s to xi minus 1 have their distance set correctly, right? That will be true, right? Then you sort of argue it. Then it becomes only one case, right? All for all xi minus 1 is set correctly. This case will not even come up.
Why xi minus 1 will be set correctly?
Yeah, how did we choose xi? When you are going from S to U, xi was the first vertex whose distance was not set correctly.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
it can be U itself, right? It can be U itself, right? And do you believe that there exists some such vertex? Yeah, U can be one such vertex, right?
So you
So
can't be right because our assumption is that SPU is the shortest path.
SPU is the shortest path, but your use distance is not set correctly. That is how we chose U. U as a vertex whose distance was not set correctly, right?
But then in the previous case, how did we prove that S2 SPX is shortest? Like no, like SPU is the shortest.
No, that is the kind of path we have considered, right? We are considering a shortest path. We are not proving that it's a shortest path. We are considering, we are already taking a shortest path in the graph and then arguing that our algorithm will set the distance correctly.
Okay, so we fine, but sir, what do we prove from this? Like, suppose there is an xi. Xi is the first vertex whose distance is not set correctly in the path P.
Correct.
So all xi minus 1 has their path set correctly. But what does it prove then?
Yeah, what does it prove? It proves, so we assumed by contradiction that there existed some vertex whose distance was not set correctly, right? Then we took that and xi was vertex whose distance was not set correctly. Then we proved that that can never happen because xi minus 1 would have been pushed into the queue, and when we are taking out xi minus 1, we would have set the distance of xi correctly, right? So which means that our assumption that xi was the first vertex whose distance was not set correctly is wrong, right? Which even says that when you sort of
Yeah, sir, like about that, okay, when we are removing Si minus 1, it isn't guaranteed that it will set the distance from S to Xi correctly. Because suppose that the weight of the edge Xi minus 1 and Xi is very huge. Like,
yeah, it is very huge. Okay.
and suppose there exists a path Q from S to Xi, and that path has less weight than S to Xi, like SPXI.
So, but
Can
we're
that
assuming,
happen?
so we're
Can that
assuming
happen?
it's shortest path, right? So the
Yeah.
subpath of shortest path will also be shortest.
No, but that's
So-
not the subpath, right? We know that S to Xi minus 1 is shortest. But we are extending it, like Xi comes after Xi minus 1. So it's not
No,
a sub.
I think
No,
we're
no,
taking
no.
STU is shortest. STU is
S to
always
U
the
is
shortest
shortest.
path.
See, P is a shortest path in G, right? S to U is always a shortest path, right? Such a path exists, right, in the graph. There will exist some shortest path.
So, but like,
But
No,
we
this is
assume that
Janmash,
U
this
is
is
not set correctly, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
U is not set correctly, and S to U is the shortest path.
yes.
Okay.
So it is, see, U is not set correctly, right? The assumption is this: U is not set correctly, and P is the shortest path in G from S to U. P is one shortest path. There can be many shortest paths, right, of the same weight. This is one. I don't want to use the shortest path, right?
sir, by shortest path we mean number of edges or weight of edges.
Weight of edges.
So, but then how do we say that U is not set correctly? Because like our assumption is U is set correctly. We are taking a shortest path from S to U.
No. See, U is not set correct. We are taking the shortest path in the graph G. That doesn't mean that this path was considered by the algorithm. We are trying to prove the correctness of the algorithm, right? This shortest path is in the graph, right? That is the property of the graph, not the algorithm, right? We are using the property of the graph, right, to prove the correctness of our algorithm.
Understood.
See, whatever,
sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
whatever graph we take, right, there will exist a shortest path between any two vertices as long as they are connected. If they are not connected, it will be infinity, right? So we don't have to worry about it. If they are connected, there will definitely exist some shortest path. We don't know where it is. What we are saying is, if you take that path, we are saying that our algorithm would somehow sort of magically explore such paths in many different ways, and it would set at least the value correctly. If not, it chooses the same path, it might not choose the same path because there can be innumerable shortest paths between two vertices, right? Source and you. Out of that, it might choose some path, but its distance would be set correctly, right? So is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So does this prove the correctness of the algorithm? Are we done?
Yes, sir. The contradiction has a contradiction. So
yeah. So this is so we assume by contradiction that there exists some vertex whose distance was not set correctly, right? And this sort of proves that such a vertex doesn't exist at all, right? Such a vertex doesn't exist, right? Which is sort of our assumption that there exists a u whose distance was not set correctly is wrong, which means that every vertex has its distance set correctly. So is that fine? So any doubts? I mean, yeah, this is one proof which is a bit, yeah, involved. Let's do one thing. Let us write this proof. Let us write this proof completely, right? And then probably, yeah. Before that, if you guys have any doubt offhand, I would like to, yeah. So we can try to answer it.
So like, do we need to like assume the shortest path? Like, can't
Yeah.
we like say something like, suppose the graph is already set to shortest paths? Like, suppose it's not like set to shortest paths.
Hmm.
There will be two vertices like u and v, where distance of u and its edge from u to v will be less than the current distance of v.
Yeah, that
Like
again
that's
is
kind
a
of like
bit
what's
more
the assumption?
contrived, right?
Like a
It
neighbor
is.
is set, but like the vertex itself is not set like that.
Yeah, no, you are saying the same thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
capturing that it requires more words, right? And yeah, that's no. See what you Aditya, what you are trying to prove is, and what Chaitanya did, what you are trying to prove, right? All these things and the inductive proof, they are all the same, right? We are trying to look for some things which can be expressed much more, yeah, easily. That's all. Okay. So I think if we try to go by induction, Aditya, what you said, yeah, we will be going the way what you said, right? So that's why I asked Chaitanya, why did he go through this proof? The thing is, yeah, trying to get that inductive statement many a times is not so easy, right? So yeah, once you sort of know, because it is also might also not be easy because you don't even know, right? You also have doubt about this algorithm at all, right? We don't even know whether this algorithm is correct, right? Once you have probably now, once you know that it is correct by one proof, probably now you can try different proofs, right? And probably you might even get a much more elegant proof than this, or a shorter proof than this, right? So in that sense, yeah. So as Chaitanya said, yeah, this is what he thought about. This was easy for him, right? So let us look at this proof. Then probably we can try to see if there are, yeah, the class can try to work out if there are other proofs. Okay. Okay. So let us just write this. This okay. I don't know if this is necessary. Anyway, if it is necessary, I will write again. So
no, it won't, sir. Like that was only necessary because of my second step, if like a recursive.
no. I was talking about the graph I had written on the board. Okay. So that graph was nice anyway. So I was thinking probably I will use it throughout this shortest path thing. But anyway, now the board is anyway not so big enough to, yeah, for me to keep all these things together. Ah. Yeah. So quickly, can someone spell out the algorithm? So what is the algorithm? So start from the source and explore the graph in a BFS manner. Set the or update at each vertex taken out from the queue, update the distance to its neighbors if it is better, right? Then Q, say NQ, all those vertices, basically all those neighbors, right? All those vertices whose distance got updated. Right? So this is the algorithm, right? Okay. So this is what we are doing. So this is the algorithm. We were trying to prove the correctness of this algorithm, right? And yeah, the way we are trying to prove correctness is by contradiction, right? So proof of correctness. By way of contradiction. Right? So what do we say? Assume that there exists a vertex u whose distance is not set correctly once the algorithm terminates. Right? Suppose there exists a vertex u whose distance is not set correctly when the algorithm terminates. Right? So now what are we doing? We are consider a shortest, say, path. Basically this is weighted in G from S to U. Right? Notice that this is the property of the graph. This has nothing to do with the existence of such a path, has nothing to do with the algorithm. Right? It is the property of the graph. Whether the algorithm is correct or not, this path will anyway exist. Right? Consider a shortest path in G from S to U. Right? Shortest path, shortest weighted path. Right? Say, yeah. Say P. P is the shortest path. Right? So on this path from S to U, let xi be the first vertex whose distance is not set correctly, right? So this is what the sort of way what Prajwal said, right? You sort of when you're going from S to U, you stop at that particular the first vertex xi, right? So whose distance is not set correctly, right? So this implies that, so let's say P is equal to S x1 x2 to U, right? Some xk to U. So this implies that the distances for all vertices in say S x1 x2 till xi minus 1 is set correctly, right? That is the implication, right? Since xi was the first vertex, it means that if you look at all the vertices from S to xi, right? S x1 x2 to xi minus 1, their distances have been set correctly, right? Also, by shortest path property, and shortest path property with edges having positive weights, we can infer that S2, say we SPXI is also a shortest path, right? That is also a shortest path, right? So now basically we go through contradiction, right? So now it is easy. Now S to xi minus 1 was set correctly in particular xi minus 1 as its distance set correctly, right? So when xi minus 1 was last updated, it was pushed into the queue. Into queue, right? When we process this xi minus 1, right? That xi minus 1 which was pushed into the queue, right? It will update the distance for all its neighbors using the edges incident on it. So thus it would update xi also using edge xi minus 1 comma xi, right? Which would set distance to xi correctly, right? So this would set the distance to xi correctly, right? So this is a contradiction, right? This is a contradiction to our assumption that, right? Here we had assumed that xi is the first vertex whose distance was not set correctly, right? It is an assumption that, which means that xi is not the first vertex, right? And xi can be any vertex here, right? Ultimately, it proves that u is not the first vertex whose distance is not set correctly, which means that it again our assumption that there exists a vertex u to which the distance is set correctly is not set correctly is wrong, which means that there does not exist any vertex to which the distance is not set correctly when the algorithm terminates. Or in other words, the distance to every vertex is set correctly. So is that fine? I have not just written the last 2-3 lines of the proof, right? That is basically the contradiction of the assumption. Is that fine?
So should we add one line saying that xi will exist and it is not s?
It is fine actually, right? So it will never be s, right? X is always set correctly. It will at least be the neighbor of s. So it doesn't matter. Xi can take any value here. It is very generic, right? What the way we are written, xi can be x1 itself, right? So still it would be a contradiction. Right. I mean, if at some point if you want to add more to it, maybe this is something I might not have wasted too many sentences here, right? So maybe these are might not be necessary, though I sort of put it so that we remember, right? The more and more we sort of use it, we will sort of think over it, and we know exactly when to use it. Right? So I have not written the last 3 lines, basically where we obtain a contradiction. It would be set correctly, which is a contradiction, right? So is that fine? So I think, yeah, since you guys have seen proofs, now you can go ahead and sort of complete it, right? So I have given you everything except for the last 2-3 lines, right? So that is a contradiction, right? For us, our only assumption was there existed a vertex u which was not set correctly. That was our only assumption. Everything else was derived from that particular assumption, right? So and hence whatever our assumption, since this is not true, our assumption should be not true, right? Okay. So is that fine? Any doubt with this? Any comments? Okay. So yeah. So if there are no comments, I would assume that you guys, yeah, know this. So you can go back and again try to think over it, and if you find any doubts, you again come back in the next class and anytime, right? Whatever, if you have any doubt on anything we have sort of seen till now, right? So don't stop just because it was done in some previous class or something like that. You can ask that out, and we can go over it, right? So it is fine. Okay. Okay. So is this fine? So this proves the correctness of the algorithm. Okay. So proof of correctness is done. So yeah, as an exercise, I would sort of yeah, ask you guys to see if you can prove by induction. Okay, prove the same thing by induction. So try to sort of see if you can do it. That is sort of exactly what Aditya was trying to say, right? So everyone can try to sort of, that's a good exercise, right? How do you sort of come up with an inductive statement? Yeah, I'm not just asking you to just do out of curiosity that if you do use it just out of curiosity, then nothing like it. But even otherwise, I would strongly encourage you guys to do it, because you need throughout this course, right? The course, the difference between this course and discrete maths was, in discrete maths, you were given the statement and you need to prove it most of the times. right? Here you are given an algorithm or you come up with an algorithm, you need to come up with a statement also and to prove it. So you need to always also get this sort of habit of coming up with right statements and to prove it, right? That becomes a necessity here, right? So in that sense, yeah, I would strongly urge you guys to go back and try to prove it using induction. Okay. Okay.
Sir, can you
That's
explain the last part of the proof once again? Like what happens when we process xi minus 1?
yeah. So yeah, what happens when you process xi minus 1? So let us go back to our algorithm. It is exactly what we are trying to do in the algorithm, right? So look at the place when xi was updated at the end, right? So when xi was last updated, right, it would have been updated at some point, right? After that, xi never got updated. At that point, xi was pushed into the queue, right? We enqueued all those vertices, right? xi got updated using one of the neighbors of xi, right? We don't know what that neighbor is. It might be xi minus 2, but it is not even necessary that it is xi minus 2. It could be something else, right? So it was sort of updated. Then we pushed, there was a queue here and we pushed xi minus 1 here. And there can be a lot of other things here, right? There could be xi also and many other things, right? So this was the last time xi was pushed into the queue. Now, at some point, anyway, we will pop it out of the queue, right? We will take it out of the queue and we will process it, right? So when we take it out of the queue, xi minus 1, so what are we doing? We, for at each vertex taken out of the queue, right? So the xi minus 1 is taken out of the queue. We are updating the distance to all its neighbors, right? So we will take this xi minus 1 and we will update the distance to all its neighbors, right? So xi is anyway there. Then there can be something u, say u1, u2, u3, yeah, some ul, right? All these neighbors are there. We will update distance to all these things. So the distance to all these things might still not be the shortest, right? But anyway, we have to update. We have updated that, right? But more importantly, we will update the distance to xi, right? So now what happens? Now we have this path from S to xi minus 1, right? And we know that this is path P, right, which we had considered, which is there from S to U, right? U is somewhere here. And we know that S to xi is also the shortest path, and the S to xi minus 1 is the shortest path here, right? Is a shortest path, and S to xi is also a shortest path. Now, the distance to this was set correctly. That is what we have assumed. Now we sort of, when we update xi using this particular edge, then what does that mean? So since this is the shortest path, the distance to xi would also be set correctly, right? At that time, the distance to xi would be updated and it is set correctly and it is put into the queue, right? So that is what we are saying. Thus, it would update xi using this particular edge, right? Using this edge, it would update xi and that distance would be correct. Is that fine?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So notice that all the time when we are trying to prove the correctness, we are going back to the algorithm. We are definitely using some properties of the graph, right? I mean, there are many properties of the graph we are using. We are using we are picking some shortest path. Then we are using shortest path property since all the distance are positive, right? So we are using many properties of the graph, but our argument is always based on the algorithm because that is what we need to prove. We need to prove that our algorithm is correct. Right? We are never trying to prove that there exists a shortest path. That is always true, right? So we are trying to prove whatever we are doing with respect to this algorithm is correct. So is that fine? Okay. Okay. So yeah, what time is your next class? 10:15. Guys.
Sir, we have a 15-minute break. We have a
Come
15-minute break. We have a 15-minute break from 10:15 to 10:30.
Okay, I will, yeah, take till maybe I need some 5 minutes or 10 minutes if there are no questions, right? I will just start off with something and then you guys, yeah, The idea is that you guys you have something to think about to the next class. Okay. So now what we did in this sort of algorithm. So let me just recap, right? So we got this algorithm, right? And we sort of, what did we do initially? Initially, we got this algorithm in the BFS manner, right? Yeah, I think Mudit got it, right? And then it was wrong, right? So you guys, Aditya came up with a counterexample for that, right? And then again, the algorithm was changed, right? Whenever something is updated, you push it back again, right? And so finally, sort of this algorithm was obtained in that. That was a process, right? We started off with BFS and we obtained this one. So after we obtained it, with respect to this particular algorithm, let us try to see what are all the steps we did. One was to prove the termination. Right? So we proved that the algorithm terminates, which is very important, right? So then after this, then we proved correctness. So we also proved the correctness of the, yeah, it is always this correctness which is, which takes a lot of time, right? The third one, what we need to do is basically time complexity analysis. Right? We need to look at the time complexity and try to see what will be the time complexity of this particular algorithm. Okay, that is where we are at now. So anyway, we did both of these things. Now we need to look at the time complexity. Okay, so now again the floor is open for everyone's suggestions. What do you think would be the time complexity of this algorithm?
So I think this was asked before also when Mudita Jalman, one of them said, but that time we said m into n, and like that makes sense because like there won't be more than n vertices in a shortest path, right? Or n minus 1 edges.
Yeah, Aditya, we need to argue with respect to the algorithm, right? How do you say that there might be, what you say is sort of true. There won't be so many shortest paths, but it again depends on how many times we are updating, right? We might be putting a vertex, many vertices into the queue many times. How do you sort of bound it by mn?
I have a loose upper bound as the number of the weights times the number of vertices. It's very loose upper bound, but
what do you mean by weight? The sum of weights, is it?
Or you can take max weight, maybe max weight. Yeah.
So order of say max weight into the number of vertices.
Or
is this what?
No, number of edges. Not, I think
number of edges. Okay.
Because as long as this algorithm is running, that means that some max weight is being decreased. No, some shortest path is being decreased, and if we assume worst case, it is being decreased only by 1. Yeah. Then this, but yeah.
Yeah, you are assuming it is integer. Yeah, let us assume that it is an integer, right? That is also okay.
But I don't think it's a very good algorithm.
Yeah, so will that work? Is that, are we bounding it correctly? Max weight?
It can't be worse than this.
It can't be worse than this, is it?
Sir,
Why?
Sir, can we say this, that in each iteration, at least one vertex will get the correct weight assigned in each iteration? So
what do you mean by each iteration?
Like, sir, in the first iteration, at least one vertex will get the correct weight assigned. Like it won't.
No, what do you mean by an iteration?
Like, sir, once, sir, like all the queue, like the source is connected to all the vertices, and all of them are in the queue. Then at least of these n vertices, at least one of them will get the correct path assigned. If it's a completely connected graph also, so it won't enter the queue again.
Oh, what you are saying is you sort of said it for the first vertex, probably.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the source, initially source will be corrected correctly. Once you pick out the source, at least one of the neighbors of the source will always, among the neighbors of the source, at least one will be set correctly.
Yes,
right?
Sir, it won't go again. So, sir, this way, this algorithm will, like, we can say that if there are n vertices, then maximum n into m is only required. Like if all the vertices
no,
are
no,
doing
no.
this.
Now you are jumping. So this is already a big jump, right?
Like so
So
this is the maximum possibility. Like
no, no, no.
m edges are
I want
traversed
the,
n times.
yeah, I want the steps in between. So you started with yes, I agreed. You started with one of the neighbors, I agreed. Then you already jumped to n. So what happens in between? How do
Like so
we?
we can calculate using degree and all. Like first the which vertex
Yeah, we need
it
to do
is.
that. I mean, that is how we need to analyze.
Yes, sir. So I
If
took
you
the maximum possibility.
yeah,
Like
how would you prove that? So you are also claiming that order of m into n, right? Whatever Aditya said, right?
yes, it will be the maximum, sir. It will be less than this, but this is the
Yeah,
lowest maximum upper bound, like said.
yeah, whatever. I don't mind actually it being loosest, but I want a proof of it. Yeah, how do you prove it? So because you jumped, you told the first step, you told the second step, and then you said n. Yeah. How do we believe all the steps in between?
Yes, sir. I'll think over it, sir.
So like, can't we like go with like a contradiction possibly? Like, let's assume that it's not set in n iterations. Like, sorry, yeah, n
You
iterations.
need to define an iteration. What do you mean by an
Okay.
iteration?
Iteration is basically like, oh, like when all vertices enter a queue one time, it's like one iteration.
All vertices entering a queue once is they might not enter a queue exactly once, right? Some vertices would have entered many times before the last vertex comes in. Right, because it is never that all vertices enter the queue once and then again it comes back, right? So some vertex might appear multiple times before some other vertex comes in.
So the complexity can be calculated by like looking at what's the number of at each time where the complexity arises is where we have to explore each vertex, right?
Each
So
neighbor
what
of a
keeps
vertex.
happening is
Yeah.
we have to keep adding degrees, like degrees of different vertices which are being explored. So we
Yes.
have to find the number of how we have to track the way number of times this explore function is called and on what
Exactly.
vertices explore is called.
Yeah. How many times the explore function is called? Can we say that? I think this is addition to what Aditya said. I think he's again extending what Aditya was telling. Yeah. How many times is the explore function called? That is where the problem is. Can we relate it to the length of the queue?
The total number of times the each vertex appears in a queue. Like,
exactly. Right.
And
so
yeah.
Exactly. Right. That's the nice thing. Right. So how many? It is basically the length of the queue. When I say length of the queue, all the vertices which how many times, right? So the vertices went into the queue, right? So initially only source went into the queue. In the next step, all the neighbors of source went to the queue, right? You need to count all these things, right? So what we need to basically see is that how many times each vertex entered the queue and sum over all these things, right? So let us say Ci is the number of times vertex I, right? Uh, say C of U is number of times vertex U entered the queue. Right? Then basically we need to sum up all these things, right? C of U for U belongs to V of G, right? You need to sum this. This is the number of times it is explored and how much time it takes for exploration. It takes a degree of U times this into yeah, C of U into degree of U, right? All this is within the summation, right? Maybe you can take degree of U outside because you can sum it by n. But the important thing is this one. How many times is something entering the queue, right? Maybe you can put it as n right there. So can we sort of estimate this? How many times is a vertex right? Entering the queue and the sum of all those. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if we take an example of a fully connected graph,
Mhm.
sir, can you draw
What do you
on the
mean by a fully connected graph?
means there are edges for each all the vertices means of any vertex.
What is it
There are
called? It's
92
called a
edges.
complete graph, right?
Complete graph. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Let us not say fully connected, because fully connected doesn't mean anything. Connected means there is a path, right? So this is a complete graph. Yeah, complete graph.
Complete graph.
Yeah.
So there's a source, and during one means when it will explore the graph in a BFS manner, during the first thing, it will explore all the vertices and assign weights to them.
Correct.
And now if we move on, we will never change the source distance because it is set to a 0 and it is a minimum distance. We won't change.
Yeah,
And
this
that
is
would be
like what Rajat said, right? So the
yes, sir.
source
I'm going
will
to
be encoded exactly once. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So then if we go to another vertex, which is a shortest distance assigned, means it won't change. There would be a vertices. It won't change any other time. And from that vertex, we'll go to another vertex. So basically, there are m edges total, and each and all times one vertex is decreasing in each what do you say exploration. So basically, m plus m, this will come n times. Can you understand?
Still, no, still I don't
For
get
example,
it.
Maybe.
it would be better to explain. Take
So
a
we can
5
put it
example.
like, sir, there will be m, right? Cu into m.
C into n, because that is basically degree. This much time is required for exploration. That's all, right? Degree I said because you will check, update all the neighbors. Right?
Are we taking the maximum degree then?
Yeah, maximum degree is also fine. This you can upper bound by n. That's why I simply put n there. So I am not so much bothered about it. Janmansh is not clear.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, Janmansh, we can't hear. Yeah, there is some issue with the network. Yeah, all of you are hitting the right spot. I mean, yeah, how do we sort of analyze this? Okay, so probably, yeah, I would also would like you guys to have some break before the next class. So think over it. Think over how do you get this count? Okay, once you get this, I don't mind having a very loose upper bound, right? As long, see, initially we were thinking it might go up to n factorial, right? This is much better than that. I don't even mind mn square, mn cube, mn to the power 4, something like that. As long as it is, something like m to the power c, n to the power c, where c is less than or equal to some 5 is still fine, right? So can you see, try to get some bound, right? Then we can try to improve. That's a later step. Rather than going for the best thing, right? Try to get some proof for some looser bound. And after that, maybe once you have a proof for it, then we have a sort of tool to where everyone understand why something is correct. After that, we can try to improve it. Okay. So that is what we can try to do. Okay. So yeah, the idea is again, go back after the classes and try to think over it, right? So try to get a bound, something like m square n to the power 4, anything is okay, right? So try to get it, and then we will sort of prove that one first, and then we will try to sort of improve it. Okay. So is that fine? Okay, I think many guys have expressed the same thing, so I think it is good. Okay, and one more thing, this algorithm you will not find in any book, right? Again, it is completely from the class, right? So this is how algorithms are obtained, right? But it is also not. I mean, nothing is useless in that sense, right? We will see in the next class how this
So
is.
like, isn't this like an algorithm called SPFA? Like it's there.
What SBFS is it?
SPFA, shortest path faster algorithm. It's a book algorithm.
I don't know. I am not heard actually. This is not SPF or anything actually. Right? It is probably a bit, it is not even so efficient. Right? So, yeah, later we would see that I think once we go Dijkstra's, once we start Dijkstra's, that would be a bit more better than this. Okay. So this is still, it might not even come up to Dijkstra's, right? So it is sort of an heuristics. So let's, yeah, try to see if it works out. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Sir,
yeah.
Sir, like what I was saying was like we in this algo for the time complexity, we can say that there are n vertices. So we can say that if one vertex, suppose the source has already the correct distance. So if a vertex has the correct distance from source, then it will also assign the correct distance to its neighbor from the shortest path property. So
correct.
So we say that we are doing this BFS n times because these n vertices will assign the correct distance to its neighbor. So suppose if we are saying that there is a scope of improvement, then when we iterate the next vertex, that can be corrected. That's why I was saying that O of m into n, sir. Because O of m for
Still
the
not clear. You are
BFS,
again jumping. You are again jumping because see, the thing is, we don't have any, as of now, at least in our algorithm, we don't have any hand on how the vertices are processed. Right? If you take the source is processed first. Out of the neighbors of the source, any of the neighbors can be processed in any order. Right? Once it is processed in some order, then a vertex, even if the distance is set correctly, so lot many copies of that vertex would be pushed into the queue. Right? So yeah, it can happen many times. So
okay, yes.
yeah,
Yes,
think
sir.
over it. Yeah, that is the problem.
Sir, in this algorithm, sir, we only push into the queue a vertex, particular vertex, if it is already not in the queue. Like if it is in the queue, then we just update it. We don't push it again. So it doesn't make
How
sense
do
to
we do
push
that?
it again and again.
How do we update it without pushing it?
We are pushing it
No,
again and
we
again.
push it multiple
We
times.
pushing it
That's
again.
how it works.
But sir, pushing it multiple times, it doesn't change anything. If we update the distance and it is already in the queue, then it would be like taken out at some point of time and all the vertices will
Yeah,
be
that
updated.
yeah,
But
what you are
doing it
saying is
again and
what you are
again.
saying is a different algorithm altogether, right? It's a different algorithm. Probably we need to use some data structure to keep it. Yeah, think over it. What Rajat said is also correct. He is trying to improve this algorithm, but first you try to assess this algorithm, whatever we have now. Then
Because
we will go to the
this
improvement.
particular algorithm, this way, if a queue is, if a element vertex is pushed again and again, it has multiple instances in the queue itself, then this m into n also won't work. Because the
Yeah,
same
that's what
vertex
I want
would
to,
keep on going again and again and again.
exactly. That is what I want you guys to estimate. Okay, this is an estimation problem. Okay, you estimate how many times can it happen. Okay. So then we will come to improvements.
Thank you, sir.
Then yeah, the one what Rajat said is might be one of the improvements. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, I think you need to log into the next class. Okay then. Bye, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks.